Okay, we'll wait for him.
I should do a Google search and see what would happen if I drank coffee right now. Because some things affect your immune system, and also if I'm chugging Dayquil. Oh my god.
Yo, what's...
The worst part about having a cold right now is that it just started kicking in the day that I was like, yeah, this day I'm gonna do a one-take recording of a song and post it to YouTube. Finally get a new song out, and then it was like, fuck, now I'm sick. Really inconvenient timing.
Wine is terrible, I don't care.
What are you talking about?
Wine
is
is great.
It's not nonsense.
I think you've had the wrong wine.
Yep.
There's lots of
Maybe I
different
have.
wines.
Yeah.
I have cheap Tesco or whatever.
Okay. There's a lot of good wine out there. Wine is like the single most pretentious thing you can drink. You know?
That's why
There's like entire charts for tasting your wine and like a color wheel that says that things taste woody, or one of them said mousy. Like, yeah, this tastes very mousy. You use all you
this
have these
Cabernet
this, like,
is quite opaque.
exactly, and you have this like tree that you branch out onto. You're like, it's very earthy tasting.
What would you say is the best drink then?
The best alcoholic drink?
Mm.
I don't know.
Beer.
I guess it changes for me personally every once in a while. Right now, if I'm drinking anything, it's mostly like vodka, just because I can mix whatever I want with it, and if I get some good like grapefruit or pomegranate or orange juice or anything, it really like absorbs the flavor. It's just a basic drink to make whatever you're drinking anyway alcoholic, if I could say that. That's what vodka is to me anyway. Of course there's always shit vodka, and there's always really super expensive vodka.
But the expensive stuff's the best. We can go to the own brand.
I don't think I...
Shit.
Because, I mean, for me, what I'm doing right now is just getting, like... If I'm just getting Smirnoff, already I can mix a drink where it's super strong and I don't even really taste the vodka anyway. So I don't know why, if I'm using it for mix, I don't know why I would go for the really expensive vodka when I can already not taste it. Gross. Ugh. So apparently I was trying to help my cousin stand up, who kept, like, falling over. But since I was also very drunk, he kept, like, falling on top of me. So that would explain me waking up with like 2 large like goose eggs on my head. Like my forehead clearly made contact with a few things that night. This wound right here is barely visible, but this happened like over 2 weeks ago. So it was a pretty big gash there. I had bruises all over my elbow. I had a bruise inside my armpit somehow, like all over my back. I looked really beaten up. So I wake up, and my phone is plugged into the charger, charging, and it's completely soaked. And I'm like, what? And so then I tried turning it on, and it's like busted. It's fucked. It's like soaked and plugged in. I'm like, shit. And then I look in the main entrance to the room, and just the front entrance part, there's like this much of a layer of water. I'm like, what? And then I go into the bathroom and the shower's like flooded, and there's like little tiny chunks of puke blocking the drain, and there wasn't only like puke in the shower. It wasn't like a lot of puke. It was just like the food chunks that didn't get like digested, I guess. And there was like little bits behind the sink and that corner, over top of the toilet seat, underneath the toilet seat. Like, I just like everywhere. I don't know how I did it. And I noticed that my shoes are also soaked. And I've come to the conclusion that from all of this, considering all of the evidence in that all my clothes were soaked. I must have come back extremely drunk to my hotel room and then just literally just got in the shower and didn't take any of my clothes off with my phone still in my pocket and showered with my phone and wrecked it, and then probably drunk me thought, oh, it's not turning on, it must need a charge, and then plugged it in and destroyed my phone. And then half an hour later, after I woke up, which was like 7 a.m. that time, which means like 3 a.m. Vancouver time, I'm like still drunk. I didn't even get a hangover because I was just still drunk. And then I go scuba diving, and that was really fun. And they blared music, and I'm surprised I didn't barf anywhere because I had a lot of food. But I guess all of this means that I got a replacement phone, an S2. Yay! I'm gonna stick with this phone for a year. I backed up everything important that I needed to, though, so all I lost was like $5 worth of Bitcoin when I destroyed my phone. But that was certainly the most memorable point in my trip, and probably the most drunk I have ever been in my entire life was that night. I've never done something that incredibly stupid when I'm drunk. Never. I've never done anything that stupid. How do you shower with your phone in your pocket? I had a waterproof case that it wasn't even, like, it was one of those, like, little waterproof Ziploc, not a real Ziploc bag, but it was made for phones, so you could still press your phone in it, and it could fit whatever model, right? It wasn't, like, a real case. But, I had one of those, and I remember before going to the bar, I was like, I'm not going near the ocean. I just didn't take it. Whereas if I had just kept it in the waterproof case anyway and showered with my phone on in my pocket, then it would be fine. But yeah, I fucked up my phone. Going to a place where I would have to worry about it being in the ocean, and I wound up wrecking it in the shower.
We want a free roam Pokemon. Like a Sonic, not Sonic, a Skyrim-esque Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, man. No, I want like a rape simulator of
No, yeah, if you could like go up to a real live Charmeleon and then have sex with it.
Like, yeah, put right in its butt. Put its flame out.
You want to sleep with an underage Charizard?
Yeah.
Dude.
Or no, Charmeleon is clearly past puberty. If I wanted to have sex with a Charmander, then you could accuse me of being like one of those baby furs or something.
We've already gone over that.
Charmeleon is past puberty, I would say. Possibly teen years, but I would like to say in his 20s, if we were talking human age.
Really?
They don't have ages. I don't know why we're...
How old is Charizard?
Charizard's probably like a 40-year-old dude. And Charmeleon would be like 20,
No,
and Charmander would be a toddler.
1,000 years old.
Jesus, are we having this conversation?
Because Nintendo's not having it.
Yeah,
Good.
what the fuck, Nintendo? We want to know.
Did anybody dislike Ellen DeGeneres as the host?
Well, every single one of her skits was like, wow, that's a good excuse not to actually write something. You know?
Yeah.
We're going to take a selfie. And then that was just an ad for Samsung. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
And she wound up using her iPhone again backstage.
Cringy.
Yeah, like the difference between this Oscars and the Oscars for last year was like there was an actual show and production put on. It was funny. Whatever you think about Seth MacFarlane, that fucking the Sound of Music joke made me had me in stitches. That was like the best thing on that entire Oscars.
I still miss Ricky Gervais as the Golden Globes presenter. That was the best. That's when he was actively making fun of the whole thing.
Do you guys watch the BAFTAs?
Did you hear?
No.
Nope. I didn't.
No one watches the BAFTAs?
I didn't.
We get Stephen Fry every year.
I didn't even watch the Oscars. I just know
Why
some people who won.
What are you saying, Jubin?
Oh, did you hear Kate Blanchett's speech? Like how she said the Oscars are just subjective and random. I thought that was kind of
I
cool.
don't remember her saying that in the speech, but I was also like typing up a storm about random nothing while I was watching. I wasn't really paying as much attention as I could have. I remember the 12 Years a Slave actress's speech was pretty good. Like, she was
Apparently
awesome.
so.
I'm glad Kate Blanchett won. That was deserved.
Yeah.
Best actor category, as much as I would have loved for Chithisuthithwal to have won, I'm not. Well, I mean, like, McConaughey wasn't really undeserved, you know. He did a good job.
Yo, everyone wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to win.
Everyone wants him to win because they say he's overdue.
He's not.
That's not how it works.
His go-to place is shouting. That's all
I think a
the
lot of
knowledge
people
of.
that, like, watch and comment on the Oscars are people that haven't seen every movie in the category anyway.
Yeah, like my feed just blew up with like memes of like Leonardo DiCaprio, like this is where I put my Oscar if I had one.
Yeah, exactly. It's become a thing now that every year he's nominated or even not nominated, people will be like, "What's the deal with Leo DiCaprio?"
Yo, it's because
It's bound to
that
happen
he's the
every
only
single
actor
year, and it's
people
gonna get
know.
old real
Yeah, I know,
fast.
People
Yeah.
just like saying his name, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the only one people
I mean,
know.
there's a lot of people that have never gotten an Oscar that should probably deserve one, you know? But
Stanley Kubrick.
What's his face? Christopher Plummer didn't get one till he was fucking 70, so
yeah.
couldn't be that long. Christopher Plummer,
Oh,
he was in Dragon Tattoo and
yeah.
Well, he's just an old man. Man.
yeah, they gave it to him because why not? Yo,
That'll be in the figure.
Who won Best Supporting Actress again?
That was 12 Years a
Oh,
Slave.
yeah. That was awesome. What I didn't understand was the woman from Nebraska. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
what? Why do you get an Oscar nom for that performance? You didn't do anything.
They just threw her in because there was like a spot open. They're like, what other movies came out this year? Oh yeah, that Nebraska
Like,
one.
you know what infuriates me the most? Apparently the Academy doesn't even watch every single movie that is in the nominations. Like, the Academy. Like, I'm sorry. If you don't have the time to do that, make the time to do that.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck are
I-
you voting on things you haven't even seen?
I've also thought about who
It's like
decides what the nominations are.
Idiots.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is.
Transformers fan.
I'm not looking
Um,
forward to The Great Beauty. I don't know how it could possibly be better than The Hunt.
Oh yeah, I haven't even seen The Great Beauty, but yeah, I agree.
I thought it was so bitter when it won, and Thomas Winterberg was sitting right next to him.
Oh.
He was just smiling and clapping.
Yeah, and also it should have been nominated for 2012 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
like,
not debatable.
You notice how when the hunt came up, nobody like hardly anybody clapped. Like it was like a lot more silent than any other film. It was like I guarantee most anybody didn't watch that film that year because it wasn't the year it was fucking released.
Yep.
They were like,
I don't think a lot of people watched any of the movies. Like, even the people in the Oscars stream that I first showed up to that wasn't my audience stream were like, half the comments were like, I haven't even heard of these movies, and they weren't even like the foreign
So
or
why you-
documentary categories. They were like the real categories. Like, okay, what are you doing here? Yay, Gravity!
It wasn't badly directed.
You know what?
Yeah.
Despite Gravity winning more awards than it should have, which is something that I completely expected, I wasn't too disappointed with this year's Academy Awards. There weren't that many categories where I was like, what? There was a few, but there weren't, like, a lot of them I was okay with, you know?
I was happy that American Hustle didn't win anything.
Yeah. What?
Yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
it's
I can't
either-
believe it, but it's kind of awesome how that happened.
It's
I thought
either
it was gonna win more, but it didn't win anything.
It had
Now
like the
that I
most
think of it,
nominations
it's like-
except Gravity, right?
It had
I don't know.
10 nominations.
It had a shit ton of nominations.
It won a lot at
What are the
Golden
chances?
Globes.
Not American Hustle. It's either that or they just heard things about the movie.
It's very average.
I know, it was a very, like, good but not great movie. Which apparently David O. Russell loves to do at this point. Colleges have a higher invested interest in making money for themselves than they do educating people.
Totally.
It's different in the UK though, because
How-
college is free
Yeah, right.
for 16-year-olds.
Mhm. That's cool.
So
Wait, it's free for
I
what?
can't really say that they're doing it for money. I can say universities are doing it for money because I have to pay. I have to get in debt and shit. But
Yeah, it's quite a retarded society we live in where something like education is a business, you know, where it's
Well, at
not
least
like
for
you
Canadians
just
and
to
Americans.
learn something is so capitalized and I mean if our invested interest as a human species, if our goal was to have, you know, the best possible life on the planet, then we should be interested in just educating everybody we could. And then if everybody had an education, if everybody had access to information, which we pretty much do at this point, thanks to the internet, then people would be much smarter. People would know how to do things, right? At this point, I mean, like encyclopedias don't really serve a purpose anymore because we have Google, you know,
Yeah.
dictionaries even. Maps, like calculators, and like all these things that now we have the internet to help us with that. And at this point, everything that you could learn in school that isn't really hands-on experience style, like you were saying with acting, anything that's information-wise, history, math, etc., science, you can learn on the internet, and yet you're paying hundreds to thousands of dollars for these textbooks that have all the same information as that you could find on the internet.
That I don't understand. Why we need to get textbooks and why we need to...
Because it's about money. That's exactly why. Which is why they make a new one every single year, and they change like tiny bits of it. It's like, oh, no, you need this year's edition of the textbook. You can't use last year's, because otherwise, like, if you did use the last year's one, obviously you would still pass the course with flying colors. But they want you to buy the new one because they want money, right?
Yeah.
The resale value turns out to be only 1%.
When I was in elementary school, our textbooks still had Russia as Soviet Union.
That's awesome.
It's weird here in Denmark. I actually get paid to go to school.
Nice. That's like
Yeah.
natives in this country. We pay
Yeah,
natives
I
to go to
Paid
school.
approximately like $1,000 a month just to go to school.
Denmark sounds cool.
That is awesome.
you guys have it sorted.
I don't know. Great for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting a university degree for free,
That's awesome.
or even better, I'm actually getting money for it.
You know it should be free?
Okay.
Dental.
Dental is free, in the UK if you come up with a good
Fuck
reason.
you. The subtitle said Katai. I'm like, wow. You flubbed on your lines. And M. Night didn't even care enough to reshoot it really quickly.
See, M. Night is what we call, in film terms, a sophomoric filmmaker. That means he puts his name next to Alfred Hitchcock, Kubrick, and Von Trier, and then he's like, you know, all these great people have made cultural phenomena.
How many of them are even European? Because wasn't he talking about how it was like European, and then he lists Kurosawa, who's Japanese, and Hitchcock, who I think is American. Is Hitchcock American?
Yeah.
And Kubrick
he's
is also American, right?
Kubrick was
Yeah. So he was like, oh, the critics don't understand me because my films are so European. And they're so European because Kurosawa, Kubrick, and Hitchcock are all my teachers. What?
Yeah.
Even though Her was a better movie than 12 Years a Slave, I'm happy that 12 Years a Slave got the Oscar for it because, I mean, it was more of an Oscar movie in the first place. So, I mean, Her didn't have a chance of winning. As long as something wins over Gravity and American Hustle and that other and Dallas Buyers Club, then I'm okay. Because 12 Years a Slave actually goes to somebody awesome. I don't think. I don't know. I feel like the computer animated technical achievements in the film industry are kind of taking away the deserved awards from people who choose to make films that don't have anything to do with computer animation. And I feel like if you're gonna have the best director category, always go to the best director that directed something with a CG achievement, because it always goes to that. Like it happened to Avatar. Same thing with cinematography. Gravity and Avatar both won cinematography. Avatar was up against the White Ribbon for cinematography, and also Antichrist came out that year and wasn't even nominated. I don't think the Academy knows what cinematography is.
Adam, you need to watch Prisoners.
I did.
He's already
I made a quickie on it. That's what she said.
Oh yeah, you saw
on
it.
this.
Alright, you saw it. Okay. Did you see the cinematography in that?
It was pretty awesome. I can't wait
How
for his next
fucking good
movie.
was that?
No, yeah, it was really well
Roger
shot.
Deakins.
The opening shot in the woods, the tree, the car fade in when they were doing the autopsy or like looking for evidence in the vehicle. The shot on the eye with what's his face, Paul Dano. Just the shot of his eye when he's in the shower, all beaten up. Like a lot of really good shots in that movie. But yeah, I mean, it always goes to the like technical achievement. And as much as it's like I'm not trying to say like there's no talent involved in the computer animated side of it, but it's kind of being outsourced at the same time, where it's like you're giving the award to the person that wasn't really responsible for the entirety of what you're seeing. Because you can set up the shot, you can be like, okay, this is which corner of the frame Sandra Bullock is going to be in and how long the shot goes for. And there were some impressive oneers in it as well. But at the same time, it's not really anything without the team of animators creating the whole space backdrop and everything else in the shot. And I feel like it should be its own category, you know?
I totally agree.
I feel like if best director is always going to be stolen by the best director / I also made a technical achievement computer animated movie. You know, Steve McQueen was a better director.
Oh, Martin Scorsese should have won before fucking Alfonso Cuarón. Not even like that much.
I don't know. It's a tough issue, but I think that there should be separate categories for films that are completely, not completely, but mostly computer generated, because it's an entirely different art form. To set up a shot and be conscious of your shot's layout and cinematography and so forth, and trying to keep in mind real things like sunlight, you know, like wind and like actors, and like you can't just like cut and paste them from somewhere else and completely like I feel like the majority of the work done for cinematography in a film that's not Gravity or Avatar is all done before the shot is made. When you're setting up the shot, you're planning for things to be the way they are so that it will look beautiful. And maybe there might be a couple color corrections in the editing, but that's it. Whereas in movies like Gravity and Avatar, yes, you have to be conscious of things that are going to be taking place in the editing process, but the majority of the shot that's made, the majority of the product is all done post production. And I feel like it's an entirely different art form that why should the two things be competing against each other, you know? I think it would make an interesting social statement because now people are already on the bandwagon of hating him. For him to release a movie that turns out to be like actually amazing, I wonder how many people would just hate it just because it's M. Night anyway. But I don't know if I'm willing to believe that he can do that at this point. He did it. Yeah. He did it once. He did it once with The Sixth Sense, and it wasn't even like it. Like there's still some issues with it that make me understand that it's from the same person. But you have to remember that
he has craftsmanship.
I know. So much of it was good, and like. Even looking back at him when he was in interviews and when he made that, he's talking about all the choices that he made and the cyclist in the scene near the end when the kid's like, oh, a person got hit on the cyclist, and he sees it, and the mom starts like crying, and it's such a perfect like emotional scene that's so simple and raw, and he's talking about it in interviews saying like, yo, I had he didn't say yo, but he was saying that he had music in it and then he just decided to take it out. He's like, you know what, we don't need music in this scene because it would be over dramatic and enforce a type of emotion to audience members that they should already be getting from the performance itself. And the things he was saying, like, were so intelligent, and they were decisions that worked for the movie. And now, this, you know? And now, ugh! Ugh! That seems so surreal.